Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Prodcast channel where we talk about careers in tech and job search for immigrants in the US. My name is Anna Naumova, and as an immigrant and a former product manager at Apple, I'm excited to share my knowledge and insights with you. The layoffs is still going with around 500,000 people being laid off. And this statistic may sound concerning, and it's important to maintain a balanced perspective. Instead of dwelling solely on the challenges of the job market, I have decided to focus on sharing success story and interviewing individuals who have managed to secure a job in 2023. In today's video, we will be featuring recruiters who, from my observation, have been among the most vulnerable position in tech industry. Recruiters were the first to be laid off as companies paused their hiring processes. However, today's interviewee has an incredibly inspiring story to share. You may already be familiar with the story of Victoria Moiseenko, a former recruiter at Amazon, who was unfortunately laid off last December. However, after an extensive 6 months job search, Victoria successfully got a new job offer. Her story is truly remarkable and serves as a great source of motivation for those who currently navigating the challenging job market in tech. If you haven't watched Victoria's story on my channel yet, I encourage you to do that to gain a better understanding of the journey she went through. It provides an insightful comparison to the current mood surrounding the job market. Despite the difficulties she faced, Victoria's determination and perseverance paid off. And today she will be sharing her inspiring story with us. So let's dive right now and stay tuned. And before I invited Victoria, I would like to ask you a favor. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it before. Every week, I release a new video about product management, work in tech, and immigration to the US. And if you are interested in supporting my channel, becoming a sponsor, or scheduling a call with me, please go to annanaumova.com for more information. I will leave the link to the website in the description to this video. All right, let's welcome Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Thank you again for joining me today.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, and happy to see your smiling face.
I know, right? I'm like, I cannot believe.
Yeah, it's really, yeah. I'm so excited to see you here, like with the job offer, because I remember like our story. It was, yeah, you had absolutely different moods. So
Yeah.
okay, let's begin with your post layoff activities. Just a reminder, we have a separate episode where Victoria shared her story about layoff, and I will attach the link to this episode to the description of this video. And so tell me, when did you initiate your job search process after being laid off in December 2022?
Yeah, sure. So I guess like I started like right away, like looking for a job and
In
I think
December.
yes, in December. Well, kind of like I started like when I knew already like that my last day will be December 15 or 16. I don't remember already now, but
It's
like,
16.
it's
I
16. Yeah.
remember it.
I remember it was Friday, but like, anyway, so when I knew by that time, like, my last day will be in December, so I start to polish in my resume, like kind of like adding experience, see like how I can, make it like looks better, more professional. And then I updated my LinkedIn status, like I start to
Put
like
this
kind of like
beige, yeah, open to work, right?
yeah, the beige like open to work. Well, I guess like I put it like the last day when I was employed, like in December 16, like I put the green badge, like open to work, wrote the post, like kind of like, thank you everybody with whom I work, and then like saying that I'm open for my new challenge. So I think it was the first and foremost important step, to update your resume.
Okay, okay. And could you please share your experience of job searching over the last 6 months? How was it?
Well, it was sucks. It wasn't pleasant, it was interesting time because I didn't get much invites for interviews. I
Mm-hmm.
even can count how many interviews I had. Like I would say like 5 or 6, like the most important one.
Five or
And
six interviews
yes,
overall, like in for
overall.
6 months. Oh my God.
Yes. So most of the time I will to be honest with you, like I was trying to stay positive, but every single day I've been losing my motivation, because when you go on a LinkedIn or like whatever you're applying, it just like I look at the job post, like if it's LinkedIn, like let's say job post at Google. Google Fiber
Mm-hmm.
actually was one of the jobs I applied to. And it was says like 6,000, like about like 7,000 people applied to that job. I'm like, no way, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna spend my time like even like, submitted my resume. Because also another thing, like when you apply, it just like they keep asking you the same questions, like, and I'm like, why do I have to provide my experience when I already like, submitted my resume? Like just go open and you can see it. So again and again and again, like every single application, you probably spend like maybe 10, 15 minutes, applying to that. So it just like you kind of like losing your motivation, like to apply, and you even like don't feel like to apply to the job. And especially if you see like 6,000 people apply to the job, you're just like, why do I have to apply?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
So, but to have these 5, 6 interviews overall, like how many application did you do?
Maybe like I didn't like I'm sure like LinkedIn has a metrics. You can find somewhere how many like application you apply, but I don't think so it was like too much, like one week I remember like I was doing like every single day, like for 2, 3 hours, I've been like looking for a job, applying, like, doesn't even though like if I do not meet requirements, I just like keep sending like resume, like applying. But then I just kind of like stopped, because I'm like, what's the point to apply? They never call back, they never like only what I get is just like rejection email, you know. So kind of like slow down on that. But my first interview was in first or
Mm-hmm.
second week in January.
January. Okay.
Maybe it was February. Okay, it was like during end of the February. Okay, end of the January. I'm sorry. Like it was end of the January. It was one of the startup company in Austin, and they were looking for a recruiter. So I talked to first round was I talked to the recruiter, and then he was a super sweet guy, like, and I really like him. And I really like, kind of like idea what he told me about the company and like what I will be doing, as a recruiter. And then second interview or like second round was interview with one of the HR person. So it was really funny and kind of like frustrated process because she was in UK. She sits in the UK
Mm-hmm.
and she was late to her interview. And our interview was like literally like maybe 20 minutes, like, and she all the time was on a mute, or she will talk and like she will mute herself. And I'm like, I don't know if you're talking, you're on mute. It was like really like I didn't feel good about it, like, and I'm like, that's really like ridiculous. And then at the end of the interview, we didn't finish. Her internet cut off, or like whatever, like the Teams cut off. I lost her.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
God.
I was trying to reconnect with her. She was gone. I emailed her and she's like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, my internet got disconnected. Like, I'm like, that's really like not good experience. And at that moment, I felt like, okay, it's like I'm done. She probably doesn't want to talk to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know what's going on. And then,
So it
mhm,
means that after 1 month applying, like it's actually like end of January, and you started at the end of December. You've been applying by this time you got only one interview with one company that wasn't successful, right?
success.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
actually wasn't pleasant. Yeah.
It wasn't pleasant at all. And so after her interview, I mail recruiter, I told him like, hey, like I just interview like with this person, her internet cut off. I don't know what happened. Like, do you want to like reschedule or like let me know? So I still like want to have like, kind of like positive experience, right? And he emailed back. He's like, okay, let me connect with her, like, and see what's happened. Like, he kind of like got back to me and he said, yeah, something happened with her internet or like computer. I don't remember. And then maybe like 2 days or 3 days later, they say that they want to move forward with the third round of interview. I'm like,
Oh, they wanted to
okay,
move forward with you?
yes, yes.
Wow. After
Um,
this, really weird,
shitty experience. Yeah,
yeah, experience. Interesting, interesting. Okay, you tell me about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and then so I scheduled the interview with CEO. And
Mm-hmm.
he's been traveling, so it's kind of like pushing back the dates, because he's been traveling. And we met with him, I think it was probably like first week of February, something like that. You know, and his first question was like, "Are you Russian?"
Wow.
I was like, yes, why? And he's like, oh, just nothing. And he started to like saying a couple like words in Russian, I'm like, you speak Russian? Like, what's the deal? He's like, no, I guess I don't remember the story. I think he used to live in France and he studied Russian for a couple years, so he knows like a couple words or like something. And to be honest with you, like, when someone start the interview with that, like, asking me like if I'm Russian or not, that's it. Like I was like out, and I kind of like felt already in that way that I'm not gonna pass this interview.
And it's actually scary, I can say. So it's like very controversial feelings if like
Y-
someone asks me that. So what do they want from me? Why
Yeah,
are they
like
asking me that? So I wanna like scold me, I wanna criticize me, or I wanna just share your like positive
was
attitude that like they know Russian words. Yeah, especially now. It sounds like really strange. Okay, so how was like what was the result of this interview?
Well, so we had a like, I mean, the conversation was nice, he kind of like asked me, tell me about yourself, what are you doing? Like, he asked me. So the job as a recruiter, I supposed to looking for engineers, for the
Mm-hmm.
sustainable engineers. Like I don't remember already, like, it's not matter, like, but like someone titled that I've never like, look for the people before. And he asked me like, well, what's your strategy will be like, like where you gonna look for people, like what do you think like the most relevant experience they might gonna have, like, like should have to be successful, like, doing their job. And I kind of like, I was honest with him. I said, like, listen, I've never like, look for the analyst. I think it was analyst. Like, I've never
Mm-hmm.
like, look for the analyst, but I think like, kind of like gave him like strategy, what I will do, this and that. And then at the end of the, interview, he kind of like leave the, like floor for myself. Like, he's like, well, do you have any questions for me? And I think because he already like threw me off the bus, like, at the beginning of the interview,
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot that he's a CEO. It was
Mm.
so funny. And I asked him, like, what do you do at the company? You should see his face. And then I look at him like, oh shoot, I forgot you're a CEO.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I felt so
You
stupid, but
felt,
like
yeah. You
I
felt
felt,
completely, yeah,
I felt
completely failed.
completely. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so I asked him like some other questions, but at that moment, like, I felt already and I'm like, okay, he will never like, I will never get this job. But the long story short, like, is that the recruiter never got back to me. So I never heard back from this company. I never heard back from anyone, and
Even
kind of
that
like,
automatic response, we are going to
no,
proceed with another candidate. Nothing, like silence,
nothing,
yeah?
silence.
Okay.
And yeah, so I kind of like made my own decision, a conclusion that, okay, I failed the interview. Thank you for letting me know.
What did you at the interview? That's funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
and so after that, it was the second interview, which is like kind of like the same scenario. Like, the recruiter never got back to me. However, they've been rushing me to interview. He called me like 7:30 in the morning, like Central Time. I think he was sitting in somewhere in New York or like somewhere,
mhm.
like he called me like on 7:30 in the morning. He's like, hey, like, we want to like move forward, like, to interview with you, blah, 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 give us like dates, like we have like a really tight schedule. We want to hire someone like as soon as possible. So they were rushing me, like
Mhm.
basically I had an interview like in 2 or 3 days and it was like at 7 in the morning, my time, like to make it happen, like, I think it went well, but I never heard back from the recruiter. I mean, on
Okay.
my, like, how I felt about the interview, it went well, but I never heard back from the recruiter, which is like, again, I was so
Mhm.
mad, like, and I'm like, why people can do it? Like, it's like ghosting. It's a last things like what I want to like, to have like in my job search, like, just like get back to me, just say like, sorry, we decided to move forward with different candidate. Like, I mean, it's not gonna hurt you. You don't have to call me. Just send the email,
Okay, okay.
you know?
And really, because you are a recruiter, you've been a recruiter at Amazon and multiple different companies. I really want to ask you, why do you think that's happened right now? Like, why recruiters are ghosting?
Because people don't care, they like, so listen, like, example was Google Fiverr, right? Like they have 6,000 people. Like it's impossible. They're not gonna go over 6,000 people through through the like resume, like maybe they will scan, like, but most of the time, my personal opinion that it's gonna work through connection. It's gonna work like someone will get the job only like if they know recruiter, if they know someone who works at the company, like, so I don't think so. It's like, unless you're really, really lucky, like, and you're gonna be selected, like, to go to get an interview.
Yeah, but
So
they do have that automatic like ATS system who can reply automatically to all candidates, 7,000 candidates, for example.
it depends. So for example, those two companies that I interview with, uh I guess like I apply on a website, they don't have any tracking application system or something like that, because I've never received like any email. So the first like step was like, hear back from the recruiter, that they want to move forward like with the interview. So I would assume they don't have like any applicant tracking system.
So they don't have this automatic like rejecting system like ATS, and that's why
Yeah,
they just cannot spend their time of replying everyone, right? Because so many candidates, right? Is that
candidates. Yeah. The first job, the first like interview when I had, like, I applied through LinkedIn. The second one was through the, not Glassdoor, what's another website? I forgot.
ZipRecruiter?
No, another
Indeed,
one.
Indeed.
Indeed, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was through Indeed. But most of the time, on the Indeed, if they keep track of applications, right? Applicant, like, they will update, you will receive like either a notification, or you will see that the job has been closed, like, or you were not selected. So I didn't see that. I guess like they do not like, even like rush to do it, or like they don't care to do it.
Okay, they haven't been ready for these layoffs, and they haven't prepared their system to receive so many candidates, right?
Yeah.
Um, cool. Tell me about, so let's switch to maybe another topic, because as far as I understand, you also try to find a survival job because you probably needed money. Like it's really hard to be without job for 6 months. Tell me about this experience.
Yeah, so I used to work before in a restaurant, and like kind of in the meantime, like while I cannot find any job, like I cannot secure, I decided to go back to restaurant industry, like and get a job at the restaurant. It was quite interesting time because I would apply, they never get back to me, or they will send me like rejection email,
Also,
like, yes, and I'm like, really? Well, and you should understand that I didn't show like my resume, a real resume,
as a
right? Like
recruiter, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you show
yeah,
like a different resume as a,
as a
I don't know,
server,
server. Yeah,
like
yeah.
bartender that I've been working in a restaurant, like so I put together like some experience that I used to work before in a restaurant, and like kind of like I've been applying to some jobs, and I've never heard back from them, like, but I was able to find a job like in one restaurant, um but it's been like quite interesting time, like so
Tell me
it,
about that. Why it was interesting?
well, because like you feel like, like think about it, how many people got laid off, or like how many people like with the, okay, let's start like with the COVID, right? Like, or during the COVID, like lots of people like lost their job. So restaurant industry, like they were understaffed, like short understaffed, right? And they consistently, I feel like, looking for servers, for people who can work in a restaurant. And my question was like, if I apply to the restaurant, why I'm not get selected? Why I'm not get hired?
Why do you think why you haven't been selected?
I don't
It's
know.
again like so many people, so
Maybe
many software engineers, product
well,
managers, people from tech.
no, I don't think so. This is the case, but also because the places where I applied to, I mean, I'm not gonna go to work in McDonald's, like I
Okay.
cannot like live on $10 an hour, right? But for fun, maybe like, like yeah, sure, why not? But I've been applying like to the like restaurants in the hotel, or like
Mm-hmm.
high scale like restaurants, like so I don't know, maybe they were looking like someone who has like more experience working in a dine fine
Mm.
dining restaurant, like, or like something like that. I have no
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
um Actually, I went to one of the steakhouse. I had an interview, and he asked me like, well, what's your most recent experience working in a fine dining restaurant? And I told him like, and then he said it like, well, we can offer you a host position to start with, and then like, you can see if you like it, not like it, and then like, when we're gonna have like opportunity, you can move on to the server. And I'm like, why can't it work as a server? Like, is it because I'm Russian? You don't like me? Just tell me. Like, like in my head, it's like everything, like all the questions pop up. But he said that I don't have enough experience working as a server in a
Mm-hmm.
fine dining restaurant. I'm like, cool, that's
They were
fine.
probably looking for someone with specific experience. I think they might also be super picky as tech like tech companies right now, super picky. And they're not
Could
looking like,
be.
for example, for my position, like product manager, they're not looking for a product manager. They're looking for a product manager with specific expertise and specific domain knowledge, specific technical skills. Like also cultural fits, soft skills, so like leadership skills, whatever they need. So they're super picky right now. Probably, I don't know, maybe you can scale these challenges to other markets. Interesting. Yeah. If you know, and yeah, I'm talking to the people who are watching this video. If you know the answer to this question, why Victoria couldn't get a job at the restaurant, and like what's going on in the restaurant market, I'm not very familiar with that. Like, please drop it in the comments. All right, so let's switch to the positive topic. Yeah, so you finally got a job. Yeah, like congratulations.
Yeah.
Tell
Thank you.
me, how was it? Yeah, how did you get this job?
Yeah, so I I think back in April, mid of April, my friend reposted some, post on LinkedIn that someone is looking for HR specialist. And I'm like, I met
HR.
HR,
Okay.
yeah, because I have experience in HR, and I have experience as a recruiter, and to find a job as a recruiter right now, just like impossible, and plus
Mm-hmm.
every single day I feel like more and more people get laid off
Okay.
in a recruiting, industry. So at this point, after like 4 months, I was like, okay, like I have to find something, doesn't need to be in HR, or recruiting, I can maybe start my career doing something else. It's just like I need to change my direction, change my,
Mm-hmm.
um path to a different way. So I start to applying to different jobs, that I've never worked before, but I feel like that
A good fit. Yeah.
yeah, my experience, could help me learn this role and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
um
Did you modify your resume, or did you apply with your recruiting resume?
well, I had some different resumes version, like for program manager, for example, for HR, for recruiter, because to be honest with you now, which is doesn't make sense to me. For example, for junior recruiter, they asking at least 2.5, 3.5, 2.5, no, 2 to 3 years of experience. I'm like, for junior, it's a junior role. Like, what are you talking about? Like, since when our standards, jump so high? Like, how you can be a
Because of
junior?
competition. Yeah.
Yeah,
High
because of the
competition. Yeah.
competition.
Because they
But
can. Yeah.
yeah, but then interesting fact, I don't know what it is, how it happened, but my friend told me that there is some kind of error right now. You cannot select. I mean, she said that it's incorrect that they asking junior to have 2 to 3 years of experience. And she said there is no option when you create the job post, there is no option to change the years of experience. So I think it's by default, in
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn or any other platform, the company change it. So, but it's again maybe because of competition, maybe something else, but it's not right. Like juniors to have 2 years of experience. In my opinion, it's you cannot call a person junior, I mean, with 2 years of experience or 3 years of experience.
Okay. Okay. And so what did you do with your resumes? You have different resumes and
Yes, I kind of lie a little bit on some resumes. I say I have 3 years of recruiting experience, if I'm applying for recruiting role. Same with program manager, I change it to 2.5 years of experience, and then I put 6 months of recruiting experience. So I kind of twinkle around. I some of my friends or the people who's looking a job, they told me well, we kind of change resume for every single position. I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go nuts, spend every single day changing the resume. No. I have like a standard resume for different like roles, like, and this is what I've been like using.
Okay. So let's continue with your ultimate job. Like you applied in the middle of May. You said like April. Sorry, you said
April.
that your friend reposted the job openings on LinkedIn, and you applied. Yeah.
Yeah, so she told me that she used to work with that person like, maybe like 6, 7 years ago at previous company. And I told her like, hey, can you please like, connect me with her, like to referral, like something, because on a LinkedIn, you cannot message someone with whom you're not friend. You need to wait unless like you have a premium like account, like, and blah, blah, blah. All features like on a LinkedIn. So I basically I was like, I sent her request, that person, like I sent her request, like on LinkedIn. But in the meantime, like my friend reached out to her and she said like, hey, like I have a coworker. So she didn't introduce me as a friend, but she instead like she introduced me as a coworker because we both work at Amazon. She's still there, but I left. So she said it like, hey, like my ex coworker, like, and she kind of like gave her a good recommendation, like she put some words. And then yeah, next day she reached out to me and she's like, hey, like, thank you for your interest, like we have like these 2 roles open. And she's like, we would like to interview you. So we scheduled the interview. And the day when the interview is supposed to happen, I thought like it's gonna be her, like, doing the interview, because under her, the role was under like her team. But she didn't show up because I guess she got sick, like, and instead the hiring manager show up, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, but we had a really pleasant conversation. What I can tell, the interview structure was completely different than at Amazon or like all other company. She asked me like, tell me about yourself, like why you interested in this role. But most of the time I feel like I've been talking, like she just like listened to me. And she, like, I asked her some question about the company, like she told me about the company, of course, like she told me about her team, like what she's looking for. And she said that she feels that like one role like could fit me better, like than another one. And yeah, so we kind of like had a nice, like maybe almost like 1 hour conversation. And I asked her like what's the next step will look like, and she said like normally we do a second round of interview. And she's like, but like she told me right away, she said it that we have so many applicants apply and they want to interview like maybe like 7, 8 people, I'm like, wow, okay. So they did interview, I guess, like, and she said like, I'll get back to you in 1.5 week, because following week she was out of town, like she had a conference. And she said like, well, expect me like, to get back to you by, I think it was like May 2nd, I would say like May 1st or May 2nd. So, but that time, like May 2nd, I'm like, she never get back to me. Let me email her, So I reach out
and
to
it's
her.
actually it's interesting because it's a bad sign. Yeah. So like when people, like when hiring managers, recruiters telling you that, oh, we have so many candidates. So like just letting you know that you're not alone. There is high competition. They might have someone better than you. And also we might reach you out to you like in a week and a half. Also, like it seemed that like, for me, it's a but yeah, it sounds not positive, because if they want you, they would not threaten you that they have a lot of candidates. They also, reach out to you like immediately if they like you. But like what you're telling me sounds like doesn't sound positive.
Prompting.
Yeah.
And so she told me that she's coming back like, on these dates, and she will be like so busy, like the first like 2 days. And she's like, give me some time. So she never get back to me. And I email her, I'm like, hey, do you have any update? But in the meantime, I do understand her if she was like, on a week of conference, like she was probably like busy and she has other job responsibility to work on to do, right? Like during her work time. Anyway, so she emailed back to me and she say, hey, we're finalizing like some steps. I'll get back to you by Monday. And I'm like, okay, cool. So again, doesn't sound like prompting, and I'm like, I messaged my friend. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I feel like I didn't get this job. It doesn't like sound. She's like, well, why are you like panicking? Like, first of all, like she's like, maybe like they finishing up like some round of interview, like something like that. So she's like, don't panic. Like, wait until Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday, I opened my email and then I saw the request for the background check. I'm like, wait, what? And then next email I'm open and I'm like, congratulations, like, you got the offer. I'm like, wait, what?
What?
I'm like, exactly. And I'm like, is it an arrow? So in my head, like, I still cannot believe. I call my friend and I'm like, listen, I got a job offer and I got the request for the background check. And I'm like, there must be something like mistake, like I don't understand what's going on, like, So she's like, well, email manager, like hiring manager and like tell her that, like if you're accepting the offer or not and see, like, so I came back home, like, like open the offer, read it, like accept it. And then, like I email hiring manager and say, hey, like, like, thank you for sending the offer, or like, I'm so excited, la la, la, like, just want to let you know that I accepted the offer. And she replied me back and she say, yes, we're so excited to have you on the team. I'm like,
What?
damn, this is this is how it works. Like, normally like the hiring manager will probably call you, like, because I didn't go through recruiter process, so my resume was sent directly to the recruiter, to
Hiring
the hiring
hiring
manager. Yes.
manager, yes.
Yes, so I did apply on a website, like, but I did not get any email notification, something like that. So again, maybe their tracking applicant system, like, it's different than, like we used to work at Amazon. So I did not get email, I did not get any notification. And I'm like, okay, there must be like something wrong. Like, I still cannot believe, because the hiring manager is supposed to call me, or like, and in her email when she said, like, like, we're so excited to have you on the team, she's like, I'll get back to you like later today. And she never called me back. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, but instead next day, the I guess like the recruiter, or like HR assistant, like, or recruiting specialist, like onboarding specialist, she called me and she's like, hey, like, I just talked to your hiring manager and they want, because in the offer says they want me to start like June 10 or June 5th, something like that. And she called me, she's like, is it possible, can you start like on May 15th, which was like the week from the date when I received
Yes.
offer? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Like, I mean, I don't have anything to do. I can quit the restaurant job, like tomorrow, and like be like, okay, bye, done. But yeah, so when she called me already, like, I kind of like, okay, it is real, it's happening.
It is real.
So
Oh,
I am
wow.
getting a job, like, and then I started a background check. And yeah, like a couple days later, I received the equipment, like, and you know what? I never felt like so excited to start in a company, or like so welcome, because so I start on Monday, right? And on Wednesday, the week before, people start to email me and like, congratulations, like that they're so excited to have me on my personal email. They'll email me and tell me like, hey, like, we're so excited to have you on the team. Like, this is your agenda for the first day, like, and la la la, like, you have like all the information. This is our teammates. This is your onboarding body, this and that. And I'm like, wow, like I've
Mm-hmm.
never like, had this kind of experience, like, because at Amazon it's probably like will be like everything is generic, but my experience was a little bit different, because I started as a contractor, so it's like a little bit different. But
Oh,
my like
are you starting as a contractor? Have you started as a contractor for this
no,
specific
no,
role?
this one it's a full-time job.
Full
Yes.
time. Okay.
Full-time
Okay. You're
full-time
talking
job.
about like Amazon, right?
Before, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, before. This one is full-time job, fully remote,
Fully
which is like
remote.
fully
Perfect.
remote, yeah.
What's the size of the company? Is it small?
Uh, the size of the company is like 500 people.
It's like, yeah, pretty like medium,
Yeah,
I can say. Yeah.
but I thought that they may be like startup or something, but they've been in business like for a long time. So the company does HR software, and they do HR consulting as well, and they
Mm-hmm.
provide like a payroll, like benefits and like all kind of stuff. So they do support small mid-sized companies, like who doesn't have HR or like payroll, but they provide them their services.
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
so this company has been like on a business like since 1985, I think, like, and they went public in 1990 or like
Mm-hmm.
2000, something like that. So they've been a like established company, like,
Okay.
and do you
Yeah. Yeah.
know, like,
500 employees. It's not a small startup. Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
what's the name
also
of the company?
it's called Assure Software
Assure
Consult.
Software.
Yeah, Assure Software Incorporation. And funny fact is that headquarter is in Austin. They
Mm-hmm.
I actually went there like because I have to done my I-9, like, and
Uh-huh.
verification paper, everything. I went to the building, I went to the office. They do have an office on a like people who lives in Austin, they might know one of the coolest building like on a 4th Street.
Uh-huh.
Um the it's on they sit on an 18th floor. They have a super gorgeous view from downtown. Like it's like around. The building has like a gym, like different facilities. They have a free parking. And I'm like, why nobody go to the office? I want to go to the office.
Are you gonna work on site?
Well, I got a pass, like, badge and everything. I could go anytime, but nobody's in the office. So I don't want to feel lonely, but
Lonely?
maybe, yeah, maybe when they gonna have a like a all hands, I
Mm-hmm.
think they're doing like quarterly. So I might gonna go there because they have a nice conference room, like huge conference room with the
Mm-hmm.
view from the downtown. I'm like, okay, I might gonna go there.
Sounds
Just sit down.
exciting. Yeah. So tell me, I might be missing something. Did you have only one interview with this company? How many?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
One interview. So you skip recruiter and you had an interview with hiring manager who
Yes.
actually received your resume
A
initially, right?
resume. Yes. So when I went to the office, I met actually with the recruiter for that company. Like they have a
Uh-huh.
couple maybe recruiters. One of those recruiters, I met with him, and he kind of like mentioned, he's like, I don't think so I've ever like received your like application or like resume. And I'm like, yes, I don't think so because, I've been like talking to those people, like I told him. He's like, yeah, that like, team, they do kind of like their own recruiting process and nobody like bother them. The reason why is because the company is like, they bought it like another company, those people who
Mm-hmm.
joined. So that company was doing recruiting before, like
Okay.
recruiting and HR. And like my manager, she used to work as a recruiter. She knows like the whole process, and they kind of like pretty much doing their own recruiting, like if they decided to make the offer, they just like go with that. Like they don't
Yeah.
need like any other recruiter. But
That's
the back to the story is that like what I say, like, I feel like that most of the people get their job right now, it's through the connection, through the like,
mm-hmm. So what
Referral.
what do you believe were the key factor that contributes to your success?
So I think because I was highly recommended by my
Mm-hmm.
ex-coworker, this is the reason why they decided to move forward with me. And also another person who started with me, who was like, got hired to another role. She was one of the referral to, like, her actual sister works in a different team, and she referred her to that like role, and she got the job. I didn't actually. It's interesting. I have to ask her like if she had a second round of interview or not. But apparently, I actually never talked to my manager about it. Maybe I should bring up to her, but like just for out of curiosity. But I think it's the key was like and also I feel like they were looking like what my friend told me, like when she used to work at like that company, like with that person, she told me that they're looking someone who has experience, but most of the time they try to see if you will be good fit for this company, for this
Mm-hmm.
team, because like Amazon, for example, they're looking like everything based on the leadership principles, right? And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay, you can do your job, but you cannot do job, and which is like really sucks because I feel like most of the people who got hired at Amazon, they don't know anything how to do their job, but somehow they pass the interview, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Because they were practicing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Training that like
they know what to say, like
yeah.
sometimes people can tell you like a lot of like good stuff, like you think, oh yeah, he knows like his job, what he's doing, but apparently when they start working, they don't know anything, like an even small simple stuff they don't know.
Yeah, I've heard
So
about it. Like the interviewing process and job, it's like two different, I don't know, like
different.
jobs
Hmm.
actually. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that if you pass the interview, you're going to be successful at your job, like actual job you're interviewing for. Yeah. And it's like, it's also, yeah, so like weird for me, like why that company is kind of like a spoil, like recruiting system, like hiring system
Yeah,
here.
but everybody like super nice, like in this company in on my team, like, I feel like that they are knowledgeable people. I mean, they do know, and if they don't know, like they're not afraid to ask questions, like they do
Mm-hmm.
not afraid to ask like help. For example, like one person went on a maternity leave like unexpectedly, like I guess like she was given a birth, like, the day when she's supposed to work, and they do like a phone shifts, like so she was gone, and the manager like, posted like in the chat, she's like, hey, like this person is out of like, um is out of the I mean on the maternity leave, like starting now, like who can cover like shift today, and then people like, okay, I can take it, I can take it, I can take this
Mm-hmm.
time, like like you can see that everybody just like helping each other, not just
Yeah.
like ignoring people. And one time I asked like question, I said like, hey, dummy question, like I'm sorry like to ask it because like technically I'm supposed to know, but like I didn't know. I asked some question, and another manager, she's like, there is no dummy question, like feel free to ask like any question that you might
Mm-hmm.
have, like so it's completely different environment, completely different like team and people, like which is
Yeah.
like it's been like 3 weeks, tomorrow will be like 4 weeks,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and
Oh
I
my God,
feel like
almost
so,
months. Yeah.
I know, and I feel like so grateful, like to work with those people and in this company.
Yeah. And you sound happy. You sound happy finally working, and I fully
I,
understand you. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, and like I'm telling you again, like the way how I got the offer and everything, like I cannot believe. And in my head was like, okay, I do not believe until like I get my
Uh-huh.
laptop, or like until I log in my first day, like because I still
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like feel like sounds like a fishy, like there is something
Uh-huh.
like wrong, like because
Mm-hmm.
manager never called me back, like like I never got like proper like
Yeah, it might be a joke. Yeah,
yeah, it must
someone
be
is
true.
kidding me. Yeah, no, 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 it's not real. Yeah, it's not real. Oh my
Yes.
God. Yeah, I'm really like I feel this. What you feel. Yeah, kind of sharing your feeling right now, and it's like really like exciting on one hand and scary on the other hand, and yeah, it's like interesting mix of feelings. So
Yeah.
how was the offer? Was it good or like not good? Not
I mean, it's less than I was making before at Amazon, like, and
yeah, but you cannot compare
I
like
cannot yeah,
salaries, yeah, with Amazon
right
salaries,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, but I see that the like how I can grow in this company, like what direction I can move, and which is like in my personal opinion, I'm like, okay, I got this job, and like, maybe like 6 months, 7 months, I can move to a different team, like, or I can, do something else, like, I can maybe become a, like, transition into the like HR role, like,
Mm-hmm.
be a HR consultant or like HR business partner, like, so I'm not like, concerned too much, but it's not the same, like, the offer money that it was before. So, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm so excited, like, and I'm really grateful for that I got this job.
Yeah. So, and how do you see your future? What are your plans to do? Like, are you gonna stay in this company and grow in this company, or are you gonna look for like other job, like recruiting? What do you like most?
I don't know that I want to do recruiting as of right now, like, because I see people still getting laid off.
Mm-hmm.
My actually, like, half of my team at Amazon just like recently got laid off, like, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 like, I don't want to like go back to recruiting because it's kind of like unpredictable right now. But my plan is like, I'm planning to get like the company pays for the HR certificate. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning like, like to study, apply for that and get the certificate and then kind of like go in
Mm-hmm.
that direction.
Yeah, I think like HR work is like super interesting. Yeah.
It
So,
is.
yeah, now looking back
Mm-hmm.
on that difficult period of time after layoff, what are your thoughts, like, and reflections?
I don't know. You have to be like really lucky, to get this job. And I mean, I feel really bad for those like people, like who have like 10 years of experience and you cannot like to be compatible with anybody right now because so many like there is not many roles open right now. I mean, there are some companies are hiring, but you need to be like really like lucky to get
Mm-hmm.
this job, like, to secure this job. But in my personal opinion is that connection it's matter, like, so you have to know someone, like you can secure the job like 99 maybe percent, like if you get through referral or if you know
Mm-hmm.
someone who works in a company. It's my personal opinion. And as you can see as my example, like I got this job because of the referral. So
Yeah, I think that's the key. That's the key. So,
that's the key. So far, this is what I know. That's the key.
yeah, and maybe lastly, what can you recommend for people who are currently seeking employment in this challenging job market? You've already mentioned, yeah, you have to be lucky. You can be hired via referrals, like that's increase your chance being referred, like when you're referred. So maybe something else, like how to be referred. I don't know how to. Well, what
Um,
should people do right now?
yeah, so be on the lookout on LinkedIn, like or like any other jobs, like make friends. So like like see, like when people like posted the job, like don't be afraid to reach to other people, like ask for help. It's one point. Second, like I don't know, see maybe how you can change or like what maybe you can go to a different direction, start to looking for a job, like. And I actually read someone on LinkedIn that a recruiter like senior recruiter said it like, I got a job as a salesperson. And he's
Yeah.
like, I think maybe you share or like someone share, I don't remember, but he said it like, hey, I'm selling cars now. Like, and he's
Yeah.
like, yes, I do love recruiting, but I am selling cars now because this is the only job I can get it right now. And I do need money. So do not be afraid of that. Like, in our days, like if you need money, and I'm sure everybody need money, like, everybody needs their needs, like to
Mm-hmm.
meet, like, so do not be afraid to apply or like to get a job that you've never done before.
Yeah.
Because I feel like maybe it's a good time. Or like, and also like, it's never too late to change your career. So maybe you can go back to school, like study and something else, like and get experience like in accounting or like do something else. So do not be afraid. This is like my main point.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So currently, yeah, you need to think outside of the box, actually, not just to focus on your real, like usual, regular job,
Mm-hmm.
but try to widen your perspective and look for something different. Yeah. So
Different.
you can go to, I don't know, like you can sell a car, you
Mm-hmm.
can open your business, you can do whatever you like. You can go study, like you can go to university, whatever you really dreamed to do before. I couldn't do that, right?
Yeah. Also, I feel like the tech industry right now, it's like, going down. So look at the different industries like health, health
Mm-hmm.
industry or hospitality, because no matter what, people still gonna go to the restaurant. No
Eat,
matter
yeah.
what, yeah, no matter what, people still go to see a doctor. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what, like, and we live in America, like, even though you don't have insurance, but you still go like see a doctor and they will save your life. After, of course, they will send you like a couple hundred bills, but they will save your life if you die
Yeah.
or like if something happens. So
I agree. I agree. Not only tech industry, in the world. So
yeah.
look something
So
new. I agree. I agree. Okay. So thank you again, Victoria, for sharing your inspiring story. It serves as a reminder that even in the challenging job market in 2023, it's still possible to find a job in tech industry. And I believe that your story will be a motivation for people not to give up and keep moving forward. And it's important to remember that every crisis eventually comes to end, and nothing lasts forever. So by maintaining a positive mindset and taking consistent steps towards your goals, you can achieve them. If you find this video useful and enjoyable, please consider hitting the like button. Don't forget to share this video with friends who might be struggling with the job search. If you have any further questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And remember to subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. And if you need assistance with refining your resume, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, or preparing for the job interview, you can visit annanaumova.com to schedule a session with me. Thank you again for watching that. And thank you, Victoria, for such an inspiring stories. And we look forward to having you join next week.
yes, thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.